splitting in channel networks. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you hear me? Maybe now it's better. Okay, good. This is a joint work with Paweł, Kędzior, my PhD student who could not come here. And we are from the University of Warsaw. So in a nutshell, what we do in this paper is we introduce a new method for splitting payments in channel networks. And the main idea is that we do it non-atomically. And we present a protocol that has these properties, that allows non-atomic payment splitting. And we prove its security and implement it. So I will give you a short introduction to payment channel networks. I'm assuming that most of you already heard of them, but just we'll go quickly through it. So payment channels, the most famous example of a payment channel system is Lightning Network, but there are also others like Raiden Network over Ethereum. And the main idea of a payment channel is that if you have two parties like Alice and Bob, then and they want to make transactions, they can establish a channel that will allow them to make these transactions without posting them on the blockchain. So, well, we also use this term off-chain. There were lots of papers on this, on many conferences in recent years. Channels are usually constructed using smart contracts. Over Bitcoin, they are constructed using this very limited smart contract features that Bitcoin has, namely the Bitcoin scripting language. In more detail, a payment channel looks like this, that we have two parties, again, Alice and Bob, and they can put some coins into it. So they put some coins into smart contracts, say Alice puts XA coins and Bob puts XP coins, and then these coins are there. And yeah, the channel is open on the blockchain. So this happens on the blockchain with interaction with the blockchain. And then parties can change the balance of the channel, so change the amount of coins they have without informing the ledger about this. Okay? So they can perform micropayments without informing the ledger about given micropayment. And this is done off-chain. And finally, when they want to stop this interaction, they can close the channel by talking to the blockchain again. Okay? So lots of things, most of the things that happen here. So all little payments don't require any interaction with the blockchain. Okay? Only at the beginning and at the end, we need to go to the blockchain. Channels can be combined in networks. So the problem that exists in this description from the previous slide is that every pair of parties needs a separate channel. So the idea of payment networks is that we allow the parties to route the payments between each other. So for example, Alice can transfer one coin to Bob, even if she doesn't have a channel with Bob, by using some intermediary Carol. So say Alice has 10 coins in the channel with Carol, and Carol has 10 coins in the channel of Bob. This transfer can be done like this, that Alice will transfer one coin to Carol, resulting in the balance 911, and Carol transfers one coin to Bob, resulting in the balance 911. Okay? So the sum stays, of course, the same, but the balance changes. In more detail, it looks like this. If Alice wants to transfer a coin to Bob, she says, okay, I want to transfer a coin to Bob. She would say, we'll call it push one coin to Carol. So the balance will now change to 910. So one coin will be kind of hanging. And then there will be a deadline also attached. So saying, okay, please do this transfer within 2 hours. And then Carol can say, come to Bob and say, okay, I want to push to you one coin with a deadline 1 hour. And then Bob acknowledges receiving this one coin within 1 hour, and then Carol acknowledges receiving this coin to Bob. So coins are transferred, and well, these deadlines come from the fact that we have to be ready to resolve some disputes, and we need enough time for this. But basically, what happens is, I mean, you can think of these acknowledgements as receipts, right? So I'm sending some message via an intermediary to Pedro, and this intermediary has to show me the receipt that Pedro received these coins. Okay? So this is the idea here. And yeah, the channels can also have a capacity, right? So we can say, okay, here we can we have 9 coins. Alice has 9 coins, so this channel has a capacity 9 from Alice's point of view, and this channel also 9. So at most 9 coins can be now transferred from Alice to Bob, okay, along this path. Okay, so this brings us to the question how many coins can be transferred in general. So say Alice wants to transfer coins to Bob, and the picture is like this. Then you can look at the capacity of this path and say, okay, using this path, Alice can transfer 1 coin to Bob via Dave. Okay, Carol has the capacity of 2 coins to Bob, right? Because it's 3 and 2. We should look at the smaller value here, 2. And say Fred has also a channel with Bob with the balance 2-1. Here is 3-1. So again, it's 2 coins. And so altogether, Carol can transfer 4 coins to Bob. In general, you can think of it that 4 coins can be transferred from Alice to Bob via Carol, with Carol splitting these payments like this. Okay? So altogether, 5 coins can be transferred. Okay? But this, of course, requires splitting these 5 coins into smaller subpayments. Okay, so Alice would need to say if she wants to transfer 5 coins to Bob, she would need to first divide these 5 coins into 1 and 4, 1 and 2 and 2, and send 1 over Dave, and send 2 independent payments over Carol, 1 going via Emily and 1 going via Fred. So the previous approaches of like splitting payments were like trivial idea. Basically, what I presented to you on the previous slide is split payments at the source. So ask Alice to split the payments and then to make all the payments independently. And it has a drawback that splitting cannot be changed adaptively depending on the maybe capacity that changes in the network. And somehow the acknowledgement is later Alice wants to show a receipt of her money being transferred. She needs to aggregate it herself. And also, if there are conflicts between the parties, then it's not really clear how to aggregate these receipts. And another popular idea is what's called atomic payment splitting. So atomic payment splitting is splitting where the parties would perform either all payments or none of them, and has a drawback of coins being locked for a long time. And the success of a transfer in this atomic payment splitting depends on one path, depends on the success on the other paths. So basically what and then also what can happen is we can have deadlocks, which is another scenario that we describe in the paper. Okay? So basically this atomic payment splitting are payment splittings where all these paths either are executed simultaneously or none of them is executed. So what we do is we have an idea to make this splitting more flexible. The main idea is that we are okay with not all coins being transferred. Okay, so we have Alice and Bob, and the payment goes via Carol, and say, on the way this payment will be splitted between Carol and Dave. So even if this payment does not succeed, then the payment via Dave doesn't succeed, then the payment via Carol can succeed. And well, maybe this means simply that I wanted to transfer 10 coins, I will transfer 5 coins instead. Okay? And this does not have problems of atomic splitting. On the other hand, we have to accept that not all coins are transferred. Okay, so maybe I wanted to transfer some amount to Pedro, and in fact, only part of it succeeded. Okay? So main features are the payment splitting is done adaptively by the intermediaries. So if I'm an intermediary in the network, I'm asked to transfer, say, 5 coins. I can, depending on the situation on the network, I can decide how to split it. But it's okay that not all coins are transferred. Okay? And you can ask if it makes sense that not all coins are transferred. So at the end of this talk, I have an example of some scenario applications where actually it makes sense. So sometimes you can transfer payments in installments. So maybe it's okay if I transfer 5 today, 5 tomorrow. And yeah, in some cases, actually, for some goods, it makes sense to pay only partially. I will have a slide on this at the end. So an example how it looks like is, okay, so Alice wants to transfer 10 coins to Bob. Then she pushes, say, 1 coin to Dave and 9 coins to Carol with some deadlines, like say 2 hours, 3 hours. And now Dave maybe pushes this 1 coin to Bob. But now Carol looks at the situation in the network and can say, okay, I'm pushing 3 coins to Emily. And then say, okay, so in this situation, she pushes 3 coins and still there is not enough capacity here in this channel, but say miraculously new capacity appears because maybe some other transfer was completed. So now Emily can push this coin further. Now Carol can push 3 coins to Fred, and say Fred pushes 2 coins. And then, after this pushing, we have acknowledgements where payments are acknowledged backwards. So the way I presented it on these 2 slides, it looks like pushing and acknowledging are done one after another. But in fact, what we can do in our protocol is we actually can do it simultaneously. Okay, so maybe I try to push some coins somewhere, it didn't work. But acknowledged like only partial amount, then I can try another path or maybe try the same path once again. So it can be like interleaved, this pushing and acknowledgement. Okay, and we present a protocol for this that we call Etna. Somehow this is the name that came to my mind because it combines Ethereum and non-atomic, and also it's a volcano, so it resembles like, the payments resemble like lava streams, splitting where they go down from the volcano. And our main tool are fraud proofs. So what is a similar technique to what is used in Arbitrum or Truebit. The most important properties is what you would expect. So if the sender is honest, then he will always get a receipt for all the value that he transferred. If the receiver is honest, then he will never hold the receipt. Then the sender will never hold the receipt for a value that is higher than what she received. And well, intermediaries care about not losing money. Okay, so if the intermediary is honest, the intermediary doesn't lose money. In our modeling, we don't address a question like fees for the intermediaries. And in general, we focus on like designing the primitive, not on like designing routing algorithms, for example, for this. Okay? For details, see the paper. I also promised the applications. So one application where you can be okay with partial payments is, for example, file sharing for money. So suppose something like BitTorrent for money. Okay, so I want to download some file and I'm just looking for different chunks of this file. Then I will be paying just for. I mean, I'll be getting only as much as I paid, right? But I'm still okay with like getting part of the file because anyway, the systems work like this, that I'm collecting chunks from different sources. The currency exchanges when I want to exchange some sum, but I'm okay also with exchanging part of it. Maybe some deposits where you want to deposit money and you are okay with also, I mean, you want to deposit $100, but you're also okay with depositing part of it and then trying later. Then also other situations where like the goods you are paying for are kind of continuous, right? So charging batteries or paying for internet access. You can also maybe you want to transfer the full amount of coins. You first try to use Etna to transfer this amount of coins. Maybe you try even multiple times. At the end, you transfer some part of it, and then the rest you transfer in some other way. Etna can also offer partial atomicity. So you can say, okay, I want to transfer, I mean, allowing only to divide my payments up to a certain fraction. And another thing that we have is, I was mentioning the scenario where the capacity of the channel changes during time, but what can also happen is that the fees that the intermediaries ask are fluctuating. So Etna can also take this into account. But this is up to like future work where people would design routing algorithms and so on. Okay, so that was it. Okay. Managed to do it in 15 minutes. Okay, thanks.
Well, thanks for the nice talk. Is there any question?
Thank you for your presentation. It's very relevant for the Decentralized Credit Networks Day workshop. I wanted to ask you if you have any implicit or explicit trust model for Etna.
Yeah, so we don't have any hidden trust assumptions. Like, you know, we work in the model where you only trust yourself. We have a modeling that is. I mean, we don't have like we don't have UC modeling, this universal composability modeling, which is like, you know, the ideal modeling that you can have. But we have pretty formal model. So we have this UC modeling is nice, but it's kind of often hard to really do it correctly. Plus, it's also not really understandable for non-cryptographers. So instead, we have a model where we do things like we precisely formalize these properties that we have here, right? So, you know, if you are honest, you are if you behave according to the protocol, you're never going to lose money if you are the intermediary. Okay, if you are behaving according to the protocol and sender, then you are always have a receipt for whatever you transfer. So these properties we have formalized this.
We have time for more questions.
So very quickly, in a world with partial payments, how does accounting work? So if I'm supposed to send you dollar denomination in Bitcoin, say $1,000 in Bitcoin, and you received it via 7 different channels at 7 different times, and we know what the Bitcoin price can do. So how do you account for that? How do you propose that?
Well, so you mean that the price, so that the Bitcoin exchange rate changes? Yeah, but this is in general a problem, right? Within the payments. I mean, you can always assume that you only care about your value in Ether or in Bitcoin, right? Now, for taking into account, I mean, we have all. I mean, we have all these things like, and this is inherent to networks, right? That we have these deadlines for payments, right? So of course, and it's not only about our solution, but about Lightning or Raiden. Someone can try to make some kind of arbitrage using the fact that he has a long deadline for you know, acknowledging payment or not. So this is, of course, yeah. I mean, it is a problem, I think, but it's not inherent to our solution. But in general, it's a problem. I mean, in general, off-chain protocols are not that great for doing very fast payments, and not that great for doing this kind of, you know, high frequency trading. This is because of these delays, right? So the way off-chain works is always like, okay, if everything goes well, it's immediate. But if it doesn't go well, and then we can go on the blockchain. So we have to have an upper bound on the response time that sort of depends on the blockchain response time, which means that I can wait a little bit and decide of what I want to do. So I can use this to arbitrage.
We have time for one last question. If not, I have one that you have the slide. So imagine this situation that you have in the slide, that Carol is indeed pushed 9 coins, and she managed to successfully push these 3 coins through Emily and 3 coins through Fred. So she will eventually get acknowledgement for 6 out of 9 coins.
Yes.
So can she then acknowledge these 6 coins to Alice, or she has to keep trying until she manages to push?
Yeah, she can just say, come to Alice and say, listen, I was asked to send 9, yeah, but I managed only to ask to push 5. Time is running out, so here's my receipt. And the receipts are sort of aggregated, right? So I'm coming at so if there are more complicated things happening here, at the end there is like one single receipt that Carol shows. So this is how much I managed to transfer.
Okay, so let's thank the speaker again.